Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everybody. What? I'm not going to lie, I haven't washed my hair in almost a week, so it's very oily. That is neither here nor there, but it definitely feels oily. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. It feels so good to be here with you guys. Yay. Hello, Kristen Platform Hopping. Hi, Sarah and Susan, Teresa, Sunflower, Megan, Bridget, Claudia. Hello, Claudia. It's good to see you. Yoga Joe Guy. Hello, my friend. And Patrick from Belgium. MC from Wales. Nicole, Amy. Hi, Wes. What's up? Teresa, Chelsea, Dana, Josh, Drea, Victoria. Hi from Brazil and Germany and Berlin. Hi, Elena from SF. What's up? We're in the same neighborhood. Hi, Kim from Denmark. Lapis Lazuli from North Carolina. Emily, Dorada. So good to be here with you guys. Welcome to another episode. Hi, Rhonda, Ida, Samantha. Another episode of Untangled. We are on episode 27. Really good to be here with you guys. So for those of you that are brand new to my channel and to what Untangled is, I show up almost every week. And I make the uncomfortable comfortable. I talk about all the crazy shit we're going through. I talk about the crazy stuff I go through personally, how I go through it, why I go through it, all in the hopes that it allows you to drop deeper into your own evolution and transformation and to make your own uncomfortableness comfortable. And to not shy away from the dark and the shadow and the shitty stuff that we don't want to experience. Um, it's actually in the really uncomfortable. It's in the squeezes. It's in the moments when you want to change everything that massive transformation happens. And so, why are we running from that? It makes no sense, right? It's a big cosmic joke. Oh, I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. I must change this. And my belief is, oh no, 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 no. You actually must surrender to this and allow this to change you instead of changing it, right? And so it's always my intention when I show up here once a week to allow ourselves to surrender deeper into what the heck we're going through and throw up our hands. Really just throwing up our hands like we're on a roller coaster ride. So before I get started, thank you all for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Obviously, I could not do this without all of you showing up. Um, and so thank you very, very much. Um, I think that's it. I think that's that's all I wanted to say before I get going. Last week I did not do Untangled because I lost my voice. And so it's been 2 weeks since I've been here, and I've been sick. One of the things I have a little couple little lists of things that I wanted to talk about. Um, but yeah, the last 2 weeks I got sick. I don't know, Thursday or Friday, like November. I don't know, what was it? 10th, 11th, 12th, somewhere around there. So for a couple of weeks I've been sick, and towards the end of my sickness, I lost my voice. I just woke up on Tuesday morning, my voice was gone. It's still kind of spotty and weird, but um, one of the things I want to talk about today is the sickness. I'm not talking about it. One, I talk about everything I've been going through, so why would I not talk about the sickness? Um, and two, I want to talk about it because I don't want it to be this pink elephant in the room that we sort of just brush aside. And I also don't want it to be some sort of conspiracy theory type of thing where, you know, we just sort of, it's something that's like, oh, I don't know if this is really happening, or we just make it normal. I don't think we should make anything right now that's happening normal. I don't think we should accept anything that's happening as the status quo and okay, and we just have to learn how to get through it. I think we need to really pay attention with our heart open and our eyes open, with humility um, and empowerment, with what's going on right now. And I think that this is, for me, this is one of the most challenging times right now is learning how to juggle the internal transformations that I'm doing, and really allowing that to be very powerful and very important, because it is. What am I personally going through? What am I personally navigating inside of me? What limiting beliefs am I letting go of? How am I showing up in the world, right? But then also simultaneously being acutely aware of what is happening on the planet, what the entire planet is going through, the corruption, the evil, the dark, the shadow, the greed, the manipulation, the mind control, and to not solely focus on one or the other. Um, and that truly is the awakening. That is evolution. And that is a challenge, big, big challenge. So first, let me just talk briefly, or maybe not so briefly, about my sickness. And the reason I wanted to, not my sickness, I shouldn't say my sickness, the sickness that came into my body. My opinion, only my opinion, my experience, simply my experience, take it or leave it. But there is a deep, deep knowingness and intuitiveness within me that we're being poisoned. Okay. And this is not, I'm not speaking about this in order to bring fear and to all of a sudden create anxiety and stress and holy shit. But it is a deep, deep knowingness that I have within me, and I believe that the more we know, the more empowered we can be. That's it. And what I have learned as I have this is the second time I got sick. I don't care whether it's a label of you know what or not, doesn't matter to me. That's all bullshit. What matters is how my body is experiencing it. How connected to your body are you right now? And this is so essential. It's probably why I have finally healed all of my eating disorder beliefs and thoughts, because every eating disorder thought that I had pulled me out of my body and literally made me beat up my body and not befriend my body. And I can tell you one thing, well, there's many things I can say, but one of the most important things right now on the planet is to befriend your body again, is to understand that your body is separate from you. You are not your body. Your body is not you. And your body is a divine, intelligent consciousness. It is made out of energy. It is designed to be able to walk you through this. Your body is not just like, oh, look at the body just got here because cells multiplied and then those cells multiplied and somehow it made a heart and somehow it made organs, like just this like random miracle. No, the body was intentionally designed by higher dimensional consciousness, not by some sort of hybrid dark, entities or dark aliens, like we have some kind of like a reptilian alien in us. No, the body was designed by higher dimensional consciousnesses in order to allow consciousness to move through this massive evolutionary shift in consciousness. So you're a consciousness that's in a vessel called a body, and this body knows exactly what to do. It's being poisoned, it's holding a bunch of trauma, but every single moment of your day, the body is in a state of healing or moving you into a homeostasis, a balance. The problem is that we have these thoughts that convince us otherwise, and it's extremely scary to get sick. Okay. But I'm telling you right now, the more that we can move into our bodies and trust our bodies as we go through whatever it is we're going to be going through, the easier we will be able to get through this. So for myself, my experience of this sickness the last 2 weeks, many of you will be like, oh my God, yes, 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 right? I mean, millions upon millions of us have gotten sick. It felt like a foreign substance that was in my body, and it didn't feel like a natural sort of like germ or something natural that's in the environment that my body sort of picked up somehow and is circulating through. It felt like a bioweapon. It felt like my body was fighting so hard to get out whatever the fuck, excuse my language, hopefully there's no kids watching, whatever this was that was in here. And it was almost like every day I was communicating with my body, and I was like having compassion for my body, right? It was like, instead of beating my body up, like, why are you not healed? What's wrong with you? What do I, I'm scared. I was like, girl, you're a badass. Like, I was literally cheering my body on and giving my body every single thing it needed, everything that my body required. So, how did I know what my body required? I was listening to it. I wasn't beating myself up. I wasn't judging myself. I wasn't saying I should or shouldn't. I was simply allowing my body to lead me because I had the awareness of how intelligent my physical form is. And that if I think that I am smarter than my physical form, I've got another thing coming. You're not smarter than your body. Your body knows what to do. Your body is extremely intelligent. It's made of higher dimensional light. It's made of light codes. And so it knows on a higher level than your own knowingness and awareness how to get through this. It knows that it's in a constant state of healing. And it knows every day that there are poisons that we are consuming that we are not necessarily aware of, that it is constantly diluting and moving through us. So when I got this thing, whatever the hell it was, I immediately felt into my body, and I encourage everyone to do this. So instead of taking ideas, right, or stories of like what it could be, what it may be, what I need to do, what everyone's telling me, just come into your body for a moment and feel into what it feels like in your body. If you get sick, what does it feel like in your body? What is your body actually telling you? Because what it felt like to me was a bioweapon. It felt like to me it was something very foreign, and it didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense. And instead of having fear and freaking out, I was just observing, right? I was allowing my body to tell me. It was like, you need vitamin D. Okay. You need vitamin C. Okay. You need vitamin B. You need more of these things. It's not because I didn't have it in my quote unquote diet daily, right? It's because the body is fighting something that is so messed up that it needs 10 times the amount of what you normally need in order for it to fight this. Right? And so it was like, all right, here you go. Here's 10 times the amount. Here's this, here's that. I'm going to assist you. It's a partnership. It's a partnership that that we're having right now. And I can tell you that the chemtrails have nothing. I just saw a comment about the chemtrails. The chemtrails have nothing. They are not showing us what they are polluting us with. This idea that it's the chemtrails is very old school. Trust me. It is not the chemtrails any longer. We cannot see what is coming down on us and what we are consuming. All right. And so there's a balance of, holy shit, I don't want to think about this, right? So I just have to live my life with the awareness that I need to think about this. Right. And this is the evolution in consciousness. Unfortunately or fortunately, this is our evolution, starting to become more and more aware of what we have been putting in our bodies, starting to become more and more aware of how we have been treating the physical body. What are we listening to? What are we watching? Who are we hanging out with? What thoughts are we continuing to allow to permeate and to poison us? The thoughts are the most poisonous. They're cutting down a tree in front of my house, and it's starting right now. So if you hear something in the background, that is a tree being cut down, and don't even ask me. I don't even want to talk about it. It's not my tree. God bless the tree. Speaking of, so um, I live in this like really big house, like this big house on the hill, right? And it has all these trees all around it. But I live in like a little in-law unit that's separate and cozy. And I've been here for a couple years. I'm just don't want to move. And my landlord wanted, this is how messed up the world is. This is just super side note. My landlord wanted to redesign his bathroom, whatever, do construction on the bathroom. And so in order to get the permit to redesign his bathroom, the fire department had to come out and make sure that the outside of his house was, I don't know, okay, good, whatever. And so they're like, you have to cut this tree down, you have to cut this tree down, you have to cut this down, this down, this down, this down for fire hazards, right? Dude, if the tree's on fire, okay, and it's like 3 feet from the house, what's it gonna matter if a branch is touching the house? The fucking fire is gonna hit the house. Like, like, the way that we live in this world is so crazy to me. I can't wrap my head around it. It is so stupid. We are so dumb. God bless humanity, but we're really freaking stupid. It's really dumb. Like, I mean, minus chemical fires, which forget about, we won't even talk about chemical fires that are that are produced by other things in the sky. If it's a natural fire, okay, that's just naturally comes from, it's just naturally burning, a natural hot fire. If a tree is burning next to your house, most likely the house is probably going to catch on fire too. It's not going to matter if a stupid freaking limb is touching the house. God bless. But anyway, super side note, it's really annoying. It's happening right now. I just, I can't. Anyway, this is also the challenge of being human right now, is like looking at how stupid we are. God bless everybody, but we are dumb. We don't even like think about how stupid things are. We just do it. We just are like, okay. Like we're so deeply programmed. We don't even, and what's my landlord gonna do? What's he gonna do? Say no? I don't want to chop the beautiful freaking tree down. It's just like these limbs, right? So yeah, I get it. People are gonna be like, well, it's important to trim the trees. I would be like, it's not important, but okay, whatever. What's he gonna say? No, I'm not gonna trim the tree. And then the fire department's gonna be like, okay, well, you can't do construction in your bathroom because that makes sense. If I want to do construction in my bathroom, I need to cut down part of the trees close to my house. Make that make sense to you? It's these little things where it's like, I mean, and this is a tiny thing compared to what's going on in the world, right? Like, you think about the audacity of what we just say okay to, that makes no sense, that has no logic, no reasoning, none. And this is on a global scale. Like, I don't know if you guys heard about what happened in China, but apparently China has a zero tolerance for COVID or something, right? You guys can clear this up for me. I don't have all of the details. But they're keeping people locked in buildings or in their apartment complexes. Again, please tell me if I'm wrong. Um, because they have a zero COVID policy, right? And so this building apparently was on fire. And because they had locked people in the building because of COVID, like 10 to 15 people died because they were locked in the building or something. I mean, this was in China. I mean, it was crazy. Um, I don't know. I don't like, I don't know if it's true. I don't know what to believe, but it's like these things that are happening in the world right now. This is the juggling act. This is the inner and outer work, you know? What's really difficult for me personally in this juggling act, the juggling act of I have to do my inner work. No matter what's going on, I have to do my inner work so that I can show up with more compassion and empathy. I have to do the inner work so that I can surrender more and more to what's unraveling. So I'm not fighting against. I don't want to be in resistance to the world. I don't want to be fighting against what's happening. I don't want to be in fear of what is occurring, right? I swear to you, like there's these little things that happen in my life so that I can freaking practice deeper surrendering. This is one of them. But I don't the inner work is so important. The inner work has to happen, right? It has to happen. Otherwise, you will be fighting against the world. You will be in anger and resistance and fear, right? But it's also extremely important to start and continue to, because a lot of you have already started to, but to continue to keep yourself wide open to what's happening in the world. What's happening all over the world, not just in your neck of the woods, not just in your little city or your state or your country, but what's happening all over the world. I think that what happened in 2020 is that we got rattled into starting to recognize that the whole world is being impacted by the same thing. So we all had to look at what was happening. But what we typically do is we just come back to our own little corners of the world. We just stay focused on us, and we're not necessarily paying attention to what's happening. It's too intense. It's too painful. We don't want to. That your own personal life is difficult enough. Right? So a lot of us just sort of close the eyes. Like, I can't think about it. I can't look at it. And this is what is so courageous and so challenging about this human experience, about this human evolution. This is so annoying right now. It's not even close to what other people are going through in the world, right? So it's like perspective. But I also get to allow myself to have the freaking frustration of it all, right? And to be like, this is standing in the fire, not getting burned, in my opinion. This is not running, right? In my opinion, it's like, okay, for me, this is such a stupid small example, like the noise out there, right? But it's like but this is a really good example of how do you stand in something that you want to run from? How are you being in that which frustrates you? How are you being in that which you want to scream at or yell at or say isn't fair or whatever it is, right? This is the juggling act of being in the external world. The external world right now, a tree is being cut down literally in my right beside my window, right? And then the internal work, how am I being with it? How am I showing up? How am I responding? We have to be able to find calm in the midst of storm. We have to. And the only way you can do that is the internal work. That's the only way to get through it. But you also don't want to shut yourself off from the external world. Does this make sense? Like this inner outer juggle right now is because I feel like so many of us went through this outer transformation, right? We saw what's going on in the world. We're like, oh my God, all these things, your job shifted, your family shifted, your friendship shifted. There's so much shifted in the external world, right? And now there's sort of this exhaustion. It's like, okay, now I'm going to come inward. I'm going to start doing this internal work, or I'm just going to focus on me, my path, and just try to get through life. I just am trying to survive. So many of us are just trying to survive right now. Like, shut up. I just need to put food on the table, right? I need to be able to make money so that I can just live. It's um, the hierarchy. Matt, what's his name? What's the psychologist's name, you guys, that has the triangle? And it's like, if the first level of existence is feeling safe, you have to be able to take care of yourself. Maslow. Yeah. And it's true, right? This is, unfortunately or fortunate. Sweet baby Jesus, did you hear that? Dude, this is so loud. Maslow's pyramid. Yeah. We have to become Jedi warriors. Honestly, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Perfect. Thank you. We have to be able to become Jedis, you guys. We have to be able to say, show me what else the world is imploding. Show me what, and the way that you're able to stand in this fire, the way that you're able to watch all of this unravel, okay, is you have to do the inner work. You have to recognize how you're being. You have to recognize the patterns. So for so many of you right now, you're being shown the patterns in your life that you continue to do. You're being shown your limiting beliefs. You're being shown the old ways that you continue to show up, that you continue to be, that you don't want to be. You're being shown them. You've probably been shown them for at least this past year, over and over, and you're tired of it. Of course you are. But so what? If I gave up on the version of me that I'm sitting in right now, right? If I gave up on this version that I'm now in, because it was too much, because I kept feeling these limiting thoughts. They just kept showing up. I'm sick of these limiting thoughts continuing to show up. I don't give a shit if you're sick of the limiting thoughts, Lorie. The limiting thoughts are going to continue to show up until you surrender so deeply to the limiting thoughts. You have so much compassion for yourself and the limiting thoughts that you're no longer trying to change the limiting thoughts, but you're recognizing and you are in awe of how powerful the limiting thoughts are. And it's from that place that you start to shift out of the limiting thoughts. And one of the things I wanted to talk about in my own transformation these last couple of weeks and these last couple of months is this version that I find myself in right now has always been here. And I want to ask you guys this question. What version of you, now on a much larger perspective, essentially you could say that there are no such thing as versions of you. Okay, we can go into this this state of awareness where you're none of it, okay, and yet you're all of it, okay, and any version that you attach to is simply an attachment and is truly not you. Okay, yes. However, I am also a physical experience. I'm also in a quantum field physically. I'm also moving through an evolutionary shift physically. I also have an egoic structure right now. So although none of it is real, all of it is real. So I choose to surrender to this physical reality and begin to play in the quantum field. And the way that I play in the quantum field is that I am always aware of other versions of me that exist that I am currently not experiencing yet. That's the quantum field. And so there is a version of me that existed that I am now in. I am now in the version of me that I held for quite some time. And I held intently for 3 years, at the last 3 years, as I was also watching the whole world out there implode. There was this simultaneous, oh my God, look at what is unraveling. Look at the shadow of the collective out there that's unraveling, and my own unraveling. And what I learned in the last couple of years is there's this version of me that exists. What version of you exists that you're not at yet? What does he or she feel like? And this is not manifestation, because I'm not a fan of manifestation. This is just playing in the quantum field. This is understanding quantum physics, which means that there are energetic versions of you, like little silhouettes of beingness, that already are, that you haven't jumped into, like a suit, an energetic suit. That's all it is. And if you hold that energetic suit that already is, it doesn't need to be created. It doesn't need to be manifested. It just is. Okay? Everything that you need to see that is within you, all the limiting beliefs, all the relationships, all the behaviors, all of these ways that are stopping you from putting on that energetic suit are going to show up. And the key, here's the key that I learned that worked for me. The key was that the way that I got from that version of me that I was to the version of me that I am now, that was out here in the quantum field, which is just another now, was that I surrendered and allowed everything to be shown to me. It's simply in the awareness of what is being shown to you that you shift. It's the moment that you try to change it because you have resistance against it, because there is a judgment around it, that you anchor it in and it becomes a bigger boulder in the way of you getting to that intention. Does this make sense? It's very, very subtle, but it's so, so, so key and important, at least for me. I didn't get myself to where I am right now, this version of me that honestly, I'm in awe of the fact that I'm in this suit now, because I really, although I always had faith that I would be in this suit, I also was like, I don't know when I'm going to get there. I had no expectation of the when time frame. I just knew that no matter what, I would get to that version of me that, again, on a higher level isn't really me, but in this world that I'm playing in, all the different costumes, it is a version of the human Lorie. I had to stop fighting against what was showing up. I had to stop trying to change what was showing up. When you stop trying to change what's showing up, there's a releasing, your shoulders drop, because there is this moment of like humility, of like, wow, look at what you become. The observer doesn't change anything. When you are the observer, it is in the observation that which you're observing changes. When you simply observe that which you have been in denial of, you don't like, you don't want, and you want to change, when you just simply observe it, surrender to it, holy shit, look how powerful that is. Wow, that's controlling me again. The observer is the change. The second you observe it, the second you become humble to it, whether it's a behavior, a relationship, a limiting belief or thought, an emotional state, the moment you humble yourself to it, recognizing that it is in front of you and the version of you that you're moving into on an energetic level, that observation allows you to say, wow, okay. And in the wow, okay, this thing starts to dissolve naturally. It's the light that dissolves it. It's the awareness that dissolves it. It's the observation that dissolves it. From that space, you simply start being in new ways. I didn't try to change my thoughts. I definitely didn't try to positive think my thoughts into this version of me that I am now. Right? I didn't say to myself, I am not my eating disorder thoughts. I didn't say to myself, I am beautiful the way I am. I didn't say to myself, I love my body. I didn't do those things. Swear to God, I didn't do those things because I wasn't believing it. It it's bullshit. I showed up with what was Oh my God, I'm still controlling my body. Oh my God, I still think that I'm fat. Oh my God, I'm still looking at what I ate all day long. Oh my God, I just watched. Here it is again. Here it is again. Here it is again. That's all I did. And as I did that, I held the knowingness, the faith that the version of me that no longer was controlled by these thoughts, I was moving into. And I knew that everything that popped up, right, was showing me what was stopping me. And it wasn't my job to change it. Change is one of the biggest illusions. It keeps us in a cycle. It keeps us in suffering. And this is not going to work for everyone. And a lot of people are not going to resonate with this. And a lot of people are going to do something different. And that's okay. But this is what worked for me. This is how I freed myself. So how can I not be honest about it? How can I pretend that I did it some other way? And why would I lie? Why would I pretend? And it seems crazy. That's what you did? You didn't go to therapy. I didn't remember a couple weeks ago, I was like, I think I'm going to go to therapy. Why? I haven't gone to therapy. Because when I started reaching out to therapists, these therapists, God bless them all, but they didn't have the awareness I had. And I was like, I can't go to a therapist that has less awareness of what's going on than me. That doesn't make any sense. So I couldn't go to therapists. I reached out to a handful of them. I was like, nope, I can't go to a therapist. They have less awareness than I have. So I guess I'm just going to keep showing up. And that's what I did. And in doing this, I don't know how I stepped into this version of me that I am right now, but I never lost faith. I remember this version of me that I am right now. I remember about 15 years ago when I was first it was like I was first stepping, like being aware of my eating disorder, and I decided I was going to go to an inpatient treatment facility. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, Lorie, this was 15 years ago. You have to hold the version of you that is completely healed of these thoughts. You have to hold the version of you that is completely healed of these behaviors. And so I remember feeling her. And I remember seeing her, right? And that was 15 years ago, probably maybe a little bit less. I don't know. And it's the version of me now. It's the version of me now that I literally am living right now. Right now. And I didn't this person that I am right now is allowing me to show up in the world and what's happening in the world with more compassion, with more empathy, with more gratitude, with more empowerment, with more power, with more of a knowingness, with more sovereignty. So this is why the internal and external is so important. This is why that balance is so huge, because it's not enough to just show up in the world and speak your truth. It's not enough to just show up and continue to try to make massive change out there, right? There has to be the internal work, because the way that we make the most impact on this planet is by being in the highest version of ourselves that we can be in. That's how we make the most impact. But it is still important to make impact in the world. It's still important to change the world. It's still important to give. It's still important to serve. It's still important to love. It's still important to do all these things that we're here to do in the external. But we're designed to do it from our highest potential. We're designed to do it from the highest version of us in this moment. And so we have to do the internal work. You have to look at your behaviors. You have to look at your addictions. You have to look at the way that you treat yourself. You have to do this. And a lot of people, I get a lot of comments of like, you're very self-centered, you're very selfish, it's all about you. Don't you understand what's happening in the world? And it's like, of course I understand what's happening in the world. I'm serving every single day. I show up every single day for humanity. I know exactly what's happening in the world. But there has to be a balance. It's not black or white. For me, it's not. It's not only talking about the corruption. It's not only talking about, the sex trafficking and the pedophilia and you know, the way that the mainstream media is now trying to make um child pornography normal. That's important. It's important to talk about. It's important to look at. If you have an attraction to a young child, they're now trying to make that normal, right? So like all the really sick shit that's happening on the planet, I'm aware of. I'm just balancing how I'm navigating it. And if I am constantly coming at the external world with anger and rage, and a fight, then I will not be doing the highest potential work. Right? So the real true master, in my opinion, is somebody that is learning how to feel what is unraveling in the external world and feel what is unraveling in the internal world, and not running from any of it. Not running from any of it. It's very, very difficult. And it's going to get more and more difficult. Right? And we live in this matrix where it's black or white, one or the other. And it's all of it. It's all of it. It's not running from any of it. That's becoming the master. Can you not run from your own pain? Can you not run from your own emotions? Can you not run? They're not even yours. They're just energy. Can you not run from your own beliefs that you wish you didn't have? Can you not run from the evil that's happening out there? Can you not run from the horrific things? Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Don't act like it's going to go away. None of this is going away. We have to feel this. And the more that we can keep our eyes open and our hearts open and humbly feel it and see it and be in what WTF of it, the more we are going to be able to stand in it, to navigate it, and to move through it. So if you're running from your own internal battle and you're solely focused on the external battle out there, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. If you're only dealing with the internal battle and you're not looking at the external battle out there, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. This is no longer about, being a spiritual person. This is about being a human. You can do all the spiritual work you want, and you can move yourself into all the high vibrations you want and try to keep yourself in some sort of like namaste state. But the external world is going to rattle the shit out of you. The evil is going to rattle you to your core. And if you're constantly trying to maintain some sort of namaste state because you don't want to actually see, admit, look at how dark and evil it is out there, you will be in a constant state of running. You will not be the master, the warrior that is going to stand in all of this. This idea that your vibration or frequency will be impacted if you are looking at the evil, if you're reading about the evil, if you're paying attention to the evil. There's this idea that runs rampant in the spiritual community that is a massive, massive disservice, which is what you focus on grows. What you pay attention to increases. No, 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 nope, no, no. The opposite. What you see dissolves. What you pay attention to dissolves. How do I know this? Because I've experienced it in my own personal evolution. How did I heal from all of my eating disorder thoughts that I've had for 41 mother freaking years? By seeing what was coming up, by focusing on it, by looking at it, by acknowledging it, by saying, holy shit, look at this. Not by being, uh-oh, this is popping up. This must be a reflection of my own vibration. I must change this. This means that I am these thoughts, so I need to change these thoughts because it's a reflection of my own vibration. And if this is popping up, this must mean that I am this. And I can't focus on this because if I focus on this, then this means that I am this. So I need to change this. No, no. That's not how this world works. It's how they tell us the world works. So they can keep us in a perpetual cycle of denial, of fighting against, of trying to stay in control. The more that you try to stay in a controlled state, the more you can be controlled. Because being in a controlled state is a disempowered state. Why is it a disempowered state? Because you are afraid. The only reason you want to change something is because you're afraid of it. There's fear. The second you are no longer afraid of something, you no longer want to change it. That is an absolute. The second you are no longer afraid of what is occurring in the world out there, you realize what is happening. You're not afraid of it any longer. You won't necessarily need to change it or walk away from it or not focus on it. You will realize that there is nothing wrong with seeing it, focusing on it, talking about it, looking at it. Because it is simply your awareness on something that has been hidden or in the dark that needs to be seen. Everything in the shadow needs to be seen. Everything in the dark needs to be seen. Everything that has been hidden from us needs to be seen. And if we live in this illusion that if you focus on it, you're increasing it, no. There's a difference between wallowing in it, being a victim. That is a big, big difference. Wallowing in something, being a victim to something means this is happening to me. Poor me. Why am I in this? How do I get out of this? I'll give you an example. My eating disorder thoughts. I can't believe this is happening again. How do I get myself out of this? I don't want to be in this. This sucks. I don't like this. That's victim. That's focusing on it and being like, poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me. No, no. This sucks. This sucks. I hate this. I don't want this. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to see that. That is horrible. That like this complaining, this victim mentality of complaining that we do in this world. No, that's a very disempowered state. So then we move to the opposite, which is control, change. I'm empowered. I'm going to change this. This isn't going to have any power over me. No, it's right in the middle. It's this beautiful place that you dance in the middle, which is like, oh, look at this. I don't really like this. Definitely doesn't feel good. But I know that it's not me, and I know it doesn't have control over me. Holy shit, it's controlled me for 41 years. Holy shit, that's incredible. Oh my God. Wow. That's an empowered state. You're not a victim. You are looking straight at it, but it's not controlling you anymore. You're not denying it. You're not trying to change it. You're not trying to fix it. You're just in awe of what is. You look out in the world, you see that horrific um, what was the Valencia advertisement? Horrible advertisement that Valencia did about basically child pornography. This disgusting depiction of a child in what is that what was the outfit the child was in? I can't think of the name where you're, dominatrix type outfit, right? And then there's this document behind the child where what was the document? My mind is blanking. Where it was when they ruled that what was it, you guys? Child pornography, bondage. Thank you, bondage. Oh my God! And then the document behind it was something about allowing child pornography or something, right? Somebody help me. It was horrible. It was an advertisement. We have to see that. We have to acknowledge that. We have to say, holy shit, there are humans that put that advertisement out there. There are humans that sat at a table and said, we are going to put a child in bondage outfits with a document. It wasn't an accident. The document was right behind the child that basically was something that was written or allowed for child pornography or something. I don't remember. Somebody help me with this one, right? That's happening. Focusing on that, being aware of that isn't perpetuating it. It's standing in the fire and not getting burned. It's recognizing how much evil is out there. It's saying, holy shit. And then it's also continuing to do your life and to say, oh my God, okay, these are baby steps we have to take. Some people are going to be outraged and speak up. Some are just going to feel it and say, holy cow, that's what exists on the planet. You know, some are going to go home and hold their babies even closer, right? Some are going to start talking to their kids a little bit differently about things. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways. Some people have no idea what I'm talking about and didn't even know that there was an advertisement like this because they took it down, right? This is the human evolution. We have to see it. We can't ignore it. We can't namaste our way through that. You can't namaste your way through that corruption and evil. You can try, but I don't know anybody on the planet that's going to be able to namaste their way through what's happening out there and what's happening inside. You can't namaste your way through the trauma that you have. You can't namaste your way through. You can't activate yourself enough to not feel what you don't want to feel. You can't. You can't do enough meditations and whatever it is that you want to do to not feel what you don't want to feel. You have to feel what you don't want to feel. The only way through is through. The only way to the other side, and there is no other side. There isn't anything that we're getting to. That's the other thing. This idea that we're getting somewhere, right? There is nowhere to get to. There simply is being in what is. What is showing up for you right now? What is being shown to you right now? What wants to be felt right now? What is it? That's it. What are you ignoring? Wow, look at what I'm ignoring. What do you not want to see? Wow, look at what I don't want to see. Be honest, be vulnerable, be humble, be grounded, be real, be raw, be authentic. The moment you pretend to be anything other than who you are, stop. Stop. This is I'm telling you guys, there are so many deep programs that we have been following that are going to keep us in a lot of suffering. A lot of suffering. I think one of the biggest programs is this idea of change. Like we have to change things. That's not to say that we're not here to change the world, because yes, we're going to be changing the world. But what the human does is they bypass the feeling of what's happening and they just go strictly to, I need to change this, I need to change this, I need to change this because it doesn't feel good. And there has to be this moment where you drop into that which doesn't feel good before you change. And then what happens when you drop into that which doesn't feel good, you no longer are trying to change it. When you're trying to change things, there's a resistance. There's a fight against. We're not here to fight against. We're here to recognize that we are none of it. We aren't the evil that we're seeing, but we got to see it. Right? We're not the corruption that we're seeing, but we have to see it. We have to feel it. And then people will say, well, what's the solutions? What do we do? The solutions will be shown to us as we continue to show up in it. Everything is going to be shown to us as we continue to show up in it. You will be shown what is next if you show up, if you feel, if you surrender, if you allow, if you stop trying to be in control. I want you to think about something right now, okay? Is there something in your life that you're fighting against or that you don't want to surrender to or that you're trying to change or that you're trying to fix? Maybe and maybe not. Just pay attention to that. What if you stopped trying to do anything with it and you just allowed it? Second, is there a version of you that exists that is not the version of you that you are right now? Can you feel that version of you? Feel that version of you. Can you feel that version waving at you? Can you feel that version standing and looking at you? Can you feel that version going like this to you? Do you believe that version exists? Can you look out at the world and can you boldly, courageously, humbly stand in the field, in the battlefield, in the arena, and know that this is something we are going through? And allow yourself every single emotion, every resistance, perhaps every fear, whatever's arising. Can you simply just allow it? That's how you move into a flow state. That's how you move through the most intense, chaotic, WTF, global, planetary, human evolution and consciousness. You stop fighting it. You start allowing it all to just be. The moment you realize you are none of it, then there is nothing to fear. There is nothing to change. Um, I didn't do mental exercises. I don't do mental exercises. I didn't do mental exercises to get rid of the eating disorder thoughts. I didn't. I don't do anything that doesn't feel true to me. I didn't tell myself I love my body. Um, I said, "I love you, Lorie." I cheered myself on. I gave myself compassion when I was in the eating disorder thoughts, but I didn't try to I didn't mantra my way through it because I didn't believe the mantras. It felt fake. It was like, what am I doing? All I did was know that I had faith in the version of me I was moving towards, no matter what I was in the moment. The support that I had was the support of me, the support of me. This is just what worked for me. I can only tell you what worked for me. I can only tell you what I did. I can't help it. I can't change it. It's what worked. I had the support of me. That's it. I had the support of knowing that there was a version of me that was holding my hand, walking me through it. I did not beat myself up. Not once in the last couple of years did I beat myself up. Did I say, you need to be out of this? Why are you still in this? I can't believe I did not do that. I legit was like, oh, look at this. You're buying into the thoughts again. Wow, okay. Because I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt there would be a moment where I would not be in it. Do you have that faith? If you have that faith, you don't have to do mental exercises. The reason you do mental exercises or you do the mantras is because you are believing. Please listen to this. The reason that you do the mantras and the mental exercises is because you believe the thoughts. You are believing the limiting beliefs and thoughts. I didn't believe them. I just saw how powerful they were and how they were still controlling me. I knew it wasn't true. I knew it wasn't me, but I knew that they were so powerful that they were still controlling me. And I was humble to that. I allowed it because it was so powerful. I observed, wow, my thoughts are telling me that I need to watch what I eat today. My thoughts are telling me that I am fat. My thoughts are telling me. But if I actually believed those thoughts to be me, then sure, I would probably have to freaking mantra my way through it. But I didn't. It's just what worked, you know? I think positive affirmations are fabulous. I don't think there's anything wrong with positive affirmations. I just never use them. I think they're great for children. I think they're great for humans. I think they're great because humans believe that they are the thoughts. You won't need positive affirmations the moment you realize that you're not the thought that you're trying to shift out of, right? So the second you realize that you are believing the thought to be you is the moment that you're going to need to positive think yourself or mantra your way. You know, a lot of children believe what they're told about themselves. A lot of children believe they're stupid, believe they're dumb, believe they're this, believe they're that. So they need help pulling themselves out of those beliefs. Yeah, when I got sick, I absolutely surrendered to it. I knew that my body was gonna get me through it, but it was definitely scary. I definitely was in fear at times, like, "Holy shit, how long is this gonna last? Am I gonna be sick forever?" Like, I'm not gonna deny that I wasn't like, "Oh my god, this isn't normal, please God," you know? Um, but I constantly encouraged myself to move back into faith and to see it for what it was. I cannot disassociate the thoughts for me. Yeah, then just being aware of the fact that you can't disassociate the thoughts from you, right? Just being aware of that. Wow, I am really associating myself with the thoughts. I am the thoughts. That even that awareness will pop you out, right? I'm 47. Um, I just feel like the way I went through this and the way I got through it is very different than the way we're taught. And so I think it can be difficult for people to follow or to believe. Um, yeah, I think, Deborah, that a lot of us have cut ourselves off from the outside world. We just want to stay home. We want to stay secluded. It's intense out there, right? We don't want to go back out. We don't want to engage. That's okay. Just pay attention to that, you know? Um, just pay attention. Just be aware. Be the observer. Just be the observer. And the helicopter perspective is beautiful. The helicopter perspective is the observer, you know? Yeah, people surprise me every day. The best thing that we can do for ourselves is just have compassion as you're observing yourself. Have compassion for what humanity is going through. The other thing that came through, it's already 10:04. The other thing that came through that's continuing to come through is how can you give to others, right? The more that we can give to others, the more we will let go of our own suffering and victimhood. Whether it's a simple act of kindness where you buy somebody their coffee or you give a homeless person some money or, I don't know, whatever. These simple small acts of kindness um, pull you out of your own suffering and victimhood, you know? They do. And anxiety is the anxiety, I didn't talk about anxiety, but it was when I was meditating this morning and I was sitting. A lot of you guys know that when I meditate, I bilocate up onto this like UFO, like ET type of craft. and I sit there and I speak to higher dimensional consciousnesses. You can call me crazy, whatever. It's just what I do. And I said, "What's happening with humanity?" They said, "Anxiety, anxiety." It's the only word they used, anxiety. And um, they showed me anxiety as this in the body, in the human body, as um, like a whirlpool of water. Like it goes. And I said, "Well, where is the anxiety coming from?" And they said, Nowhere. Many people are simply feeling anxiety just because of the energy moving through the body. And so it's not necessarily anything in particular that is necessarily causing the anxiety. It's just for many of us, this energy that starts to move in the body. And then it sort of collects our thoughts and it collects emotions and it collects things along the way. It's just a movement of energy speeding up. And it creates this like tightness, this like rigidity, this fear, this you tighten, and then you're connecting your thoughts, and then you're pulling on your thoughts, and then you go into this whirlpool. So it's simply being aware of that quick movement. It's anxiety is definitely a part of being in the future. It's definitely a part of being in the past. Anxiety is about control, right? But there is a larger experience of anxiety right now that's happening that doesn't have anything to do with that, right? So there's layers to anxiety. Um, but if you can get present, if you can just breathe, anxiety dissolves like that. You get present, you breathe, you stop, you slow down, anxiety dissolves. I can only imagine the amount of children that are feeling anxiety. If you have a child, the one of the greatest things that you can do with that child is constantly be communicating with them. And the best way to communicate with a child, in my opinion, is to not talk to them, but to talk with them. So it's basically talking about your own experiences, not you talking to them. Do you have anxiety? Are you afraid? Do you feel these things? No. Instead, the best way to reach a child is, "Gosh, I've been feeling a lot of weird energy in my body lately." You're just having a conversation about your experience. "Yeah, and this anxiety moves like a whirlpool. Do you ever feel that?" Then the child is open to having conversation. But if you're like, "Do you feel anxiety? Do you feel scared? Are people being mean to you? Then a lot of children they're not gonna understand. Are you judging me? Is there a right way? Is there a wrong way? Am I supposed to be? Am I not supposed to be? Why are you asking me these questions? Did I do something wrong?" Right? The child is going to be defensive almost, even though you're not trying to make them defensive. But if you simply just talk about your own experience as if it's no big deal, whether you're having that experience or not, it allows the child to open. You know, it allows the child will listen. Children are always listening, always. Um, and so that is a beautiful way of being able to get in right now to children that may feel very, very overwhelmed. You know? Anyway, all right, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. If you want to join me in my online community Patreon, we're doing a live Q&A tomorrow. So I'll be answering all your questions. I didn't really get to any of your guys' questions today, but my online Patreon community, I do 5 live events every single month. And the last event of the month is a Q&A. So I spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours answering all your questions. The link is down below for my Patreon community. Yeah, I think on the 4th, December 4th, I am doing three free 30-minute sessions as well. So the first event of every month, I give away 3 free 30-minute sessions in my Patreon. So if you're ever wanting to do a session with me, if you're wondering if I do sessions, I don't do sessions in the public, but I do offer free sessions in my Patreon community. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope this was useful in some way, shape, or form. Thanks for navigating the evolution with me, walking side by side. Be gentle with yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. Be gentle with other humans. Be compassionate with other humans. Um, and try not to identify as anything that you are experiencing. See that version of you that already exists. Have faith in that version. And the moment you realize that you are not what you are experiencing is the moment you shift through it. Tomorrow, it's at 5 p.m. California time. So it's a Q&A, and it's 5 p.m. California time. I love the Q&As because there's so many fascinating questions. We go all over the place, all over the place. All right, you guys, that's it. Lots of love.